Well, hi there. I'm Kimberly Ewing. Welcome back to the 22nd Annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival from Circle. We're here at Nevada City Winery, and it is my pleasure to be introducing a wonderful man from the Cal Wilds. Actually, it's called Cal Wild Rivers. This is Steve Evans. Hi, Steve.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Good. We were just talking off the air about how long have you been with Cal Wild Rivers?
Well, I've only been working for them since 2011, but I actually served on their board for almost 20 years.
And that's work too.
Right, yeah.
You've been involved for over 30 then.
Right. Well, before that, for almost 25 years, I was conservation director at Friends of the River, which is the statewide river group in Sacramento.
Lovely, yeah. And is this the first time you've submitted to the Wild and Scenic?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
How does it feel so far?
Good. It was a great film, and I think there was good public reaction to it, and had a lot of great questions.
The film is named 6,000 Miles, and when I watched it, I was like, why is it called 6,000 Miles? But I think I know, but the audience may not.
Right.
It's about the Klamath watershed?
Well, bigger than
Or the
that.
Trinity?
So
all of the above.
Yeah, 6,000 miles is Cal Wild's goal to secure protection in both the national and state wild and scenic river systems.
Okay.
By 2030. We want to see 6,000 miles protected. We have about 2,400 miles right now.
Okay.
And we have current legislation in Congress that would protect another 650 miles. So
Oh, you're
we're
doing
moving
it.
along.
Yeah.
It's any legislative action like that is a long-term game.
Yeah.
You can't get a bill introduced and pass that year. Usually takes almost a decade to get Congress to pass a bill. So
Right. And how has your role been for making this film?
Yeah, we wanted to make a film that would sort of open the door to people how they could get involved to protect rivers statewide, and that can involve a lot of things. It could be a straight up and down wild and scenic legislative effort.
Sure.
Could be restoration. Could be citizen science. Checking water quality. So. But we just wanted to show people that there are all sorts of opportunities to protect their local river.
Yeah, and part of the film too, Steve, that really touched me is about the story. There is a girl in the story that grew up on the Trinity, and then it's like full circle with caring for her mom. She returns.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about that part of the story. It really tugged at my heart.
You're right. I wasn't that involved with it. We haven't actually met, but
she's so for it.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I think one of the things that was good about that part of the film is, Trinity is a protected river. It is a wild and scenic river. It's been a state river since 1972 and a federal one since 1981. But it still needs work to protect it. It's taken many groups, a lot of lawsuits, a lot of public comments to convince the federal government not to divert too much water from the Trinity, because it diverts water. Sometimes up to 90% of the water from the Trinity River is diverted into the Central Valley and exported
90%.
So, they've had to do a lot of major habitat restoration, because reducing flows that much means the river doesn't have its own energy to renew and restore habitat. So
certainly not.
And also, with the current legislation, we feature Representative Jared Huffman, who represents Northwest California.
Right.
He has legislation that would protect many of the Trinity's tributaries, which add to the river's outstandingly remarkable salmon and steelhead fishery, which is the main value that designation helps protect.
And he's the congressman that is pulling it forward every time, and that's what we need.
Absolutely.
To keep pulling it up into what I was interested in is sometimes things have to be sent in a package, a legislative package, and that's one of the strategies, I guess, with legislature. Is that true?
Yeah, so way back in the late 70s and early 80s, we used to be able to pass public lands legislation generally over the objections of Republicans. Used to be Republicans supported that stuff, but they don't anymore. More recently, we can only do legislation where we have a local sponsor, a local champion willing to introduce it. So Jared Huffman's one of those.
Okay.
Salud Carbajal, who introduced the Central Coast Bill, which has wilderness and wild and scenic rivers, and Congresswoman from Southern California, whose name is escaping me right at the moment, for the San Gabriel Mountains rivers. And so all those bills were introduced separately. They all passed the House. They got passed by the House again in a package. They got passed. Last time it got passed, it was part of a defense funding authorization bill. So you just have to work with local champions and package those in a way that we can get it passed. And now we're working on a combined bill in the Senate that may get a vote in a couple of months. We'll see what happens to that when it has to go back to the House. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows what's happening with the House of Representatives?
Well, we don't know, but we just got to keep trying.
Right.
And what I love is that you guys have a goal. How do you feel? You've got one that's in the 650 miles. That's a good chunk to your goal. How do you feel about the 6,000 mile goal?
Well, you're right. It is a good chunk, and I'd feel, on federal legislation, I was involved with the designation of Sespe Creek and Sisquoc River and Big Sur River on the Central Coast in 1992. We had an omnibus bill that President Obama signed in 2009 that added rivers in the Eastern Sierra and the San Gabriel Mountains and the Mojave Desert. And most recently, one of her last pieces of legislation, Senator Feinstein, had her Desert Protection Act Part 2 passed, which included rivers in the desert. So
little victories.
All those take,
victories.
Each one of those bills took almost 10 years. And
Oh my.
So, we're still slogging away at this bill that has 650 miles, but I think we'll see it through.
Well, Steve, it's been such a pleasure to have you here. I hope you come back in a different way or some other way with the Cal Wilds Rivers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And you are here at the Media Lounge at the Wild and Scenic. Come on down to Nevada City Winery. We'll see you soon.